a station of decapitation without your head? I'm Nasty Neil, and I'm joined by Lisa Wilcox.
Hey, hello.
Hello. Good to have you back. And Danny Hassel, it's good to meet you.
What's up? Hey, nice to meet you also. Like that music. That was awesome.
Oh, thank you. That's by the Tomb of Nick Cage out there. So thank them for creating the song for us.
Cool song. Cool band.
Yeah.
Right on.
So this is very exciting. You have coming up Nostalgic Nebula presents Alice's Journey in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 and 5 double feature. And that is at Gardena Cinema. And that is on the 13th, which is a good date.
Right, July 13th.
Yeah. I'm into it, man. It's like people don't know. It's just really, it's super California thing to happen for me. I'm from here. I'm from Southern California. Gardena Theater, or Gardena Cinema, I'm sorry, is 800 seats, I believe it has, and it's a single screen. So it goes back to, I believe, the 40s. But the family that owns it now bought it in the 70s and have had it since. And it's just super cool, man. It's super cool. So it's like a really cool gig, and to have my movie play there in like a nostalgic theater.
Both movies, yeah.
Or our
two movies, yeah.
You know, so it's pretty cool, man. For me, it's like a weird little homecoming, almost kind of, or something. Like, it's neat. It's pretty neat. So I hope people come.
I love doing nostalgic cinema theaters, old school.
Me as well. And then
I've done them in Ohio and Iowa, and did Santa Ana, and super fun. It's a fun, intimate experience too.
Lisa and I went to the drive-in called the Mahoning, right, Lisa?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a kind of, for me, it's kind of the same kind of thing. Like, that's all it is. It's a weird gig, but it's a pretty cool Saturday night or whatever. You get to go watch a double feature in a nostalgic theater and get to see a popular movie if you're into it. And so it's going to be pretty fun. I hope people show up.
Yeah, I'm someone who goes to movies every weekend, and during the pandemic, a couple of the old ones in Boston almost closed, and
very
very good. They stayed open, but yeah, one of them has been there since the 20s, so it would have been. And if a cinema like that a theater like that goes away, it's not going to come back.
Correct. So that's why I feel like this is pretty cool. It's a cool opportunity, and I hope people come. It's a cool, like I said, what a cool Saturday night. It's like, it's not like spooky season. It's middle of summer, but that's when our movies came out. They did, and like they're kind of just it's like a fun movie. It's Nightmare on Elm Street, so it's like I think it's a pretty good date night. Whatever, you're like, hey, we're gonna go check out. It's pretty cool. And like, what is it? And you're like, Nightmare no.
And in 1988, Nightmare 4 was it was cool enough and not bloody. It was a date movie in 1988. That's why it was like, whoops, it's like, was number one like all summer long, and all kinds of other films were coming out in 1988. But Nightmare 4 was like number one for weeks. It was, we were all like, what?
Yeah,
it was awesome. She's right.
When you watch the movies now, how do you look at them? Like, do you look at them as movies, or is it more like the memories of making the movies?
Oh, that's such a good question. I look at it as, well, one, I really do enjoy the movie. I mean, just the great one-liners. I mean, it's so entertaining. And then, so I watch it as a moviegoer, and then, but I also have watched it like, oh, that scene, I could have done better. Like, Danny, when you get like, bumped, the red truck, right? I'm driving, right? And then Freddie and I crash or whatever. And I wish my scene had been a little stronger. I just kind of glance over it and go, oh. It could have been a little more emotional.
It worked.
It worked. But overall, I mean, I think everyone did outstanding performances and whatnot, in, my personal opinion.
Yeah. How about yourself, Danny? How do you look at the movies now?
Same kind of. I think both. Like, what is it? I watch it as an actor and as like a person that was in the movie, and then as a movie goer, and then like not even like critiquing my own acting, but some of the movies, like some of them I go, oh my god, that's really bad. Like,
Well, you mean in Nightmare 4 or other movies that you
I'm
watch?
not gonna say because every time Nightmare 4 is on, but I'm just sitting there one time watching the movie and I go, oh my God, this is kind of bad, you know? Like,
And there's moments too, like they hired a wonderful, well, there were many like body double, stunt double people for Alice in Nightmare 4. And, you know, they sent me and Andras, Rick, who plays my brother, right, to karate school to learn, you know, nunchucks and stuff. But in that scene, in my bedroom, looking in the mirror, and so anytime you see my face and me doing blah, 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 that is me doing that stuff. But when they take the camera to the back of me, that is a stunt double who was 4 inches taller than I am, and you know, an expert nunchuck person, right? She made me look good, but the wig, very, very, very bad, and it's kind of a joke now with like fans and stuff like that. You know, it's like, yeah, that wig wasn't very good, you know. But I did have to learn nunchucks. Gosh darn it.
Yeah. Do you still ever pull out the nunchucks?
Of course, I have them. I've turned my powder room into my horror room, and you know, because people give crocheted Freddy dolls and Alice Barbies and so much. And also, I am a horror collector myself, and so anyway, it's all dedicated to that. So yes, I have nunchucks hanging in my powder room, and I actually bring them to conventions to sell and sign them. But I also have mini nunchucks. I had this idea. I love miniature stuff. I love Christmas tree ornaments. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll make mini nunchucks. So
I love it.
Wonderful guy, Gabe Lapierre, hand makes them. I designed them, little mini nunchucks. And so it's a refrigerator magnet. It comes with an extra magnet. So you can wear like, I should have it on now, but I don't. I think it's packed in my luggage. And wear it like a pin, right? I tried them as earrings, but the magnet's really strong and my lips hurt after like half an hour. And a Christmas tree ornament. So.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I like it when people think out of the box and have a fun merchandise like that.
I'm just have always loved marketing and merchandising. Even when I left acting for a very long time, I worked some corporate jobs. I had my own company called With Tuesday Night. Toe Brights, you know, and my whole thing was, okay, you know, how are we going to merchandise? How do we, you know, all that stuff. So anyway, and they are available on my website, the mini nunchucks. Anyway.
Okay. I'll put the link up for everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would like to have one myself. So yeah. And Danny has merchandise there behind him. Well, not merchandise, but he.
You know, it's funny, man, not to just, I'll caveat off Lisa, like, what's it called? This is my whatever 2 cents. We were involved in a franchise movie, which I didn't even realize until now. You know what I mean? Like, so 3, 4, and 5. Speaking of like marketing and all that, we were just actors and trying to be in movies. We didn't know that like there were other people going, hey man, we're going to do this and this and this, and then market these movies. So 3, 4, and 5 kind of almost have continuity. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? And at the same time, it was all, someone was running the show, you know, like these are how we're going to run it, you know, and market it or whatever. And so like that's how they marketed those movies. And so and now that's what when you guys were talking about that, like I have to laugh at it sometimes. Some of it's so rad, some of it's super rad, and some of it sucks, and you're just, it's so cheesy. And I'm saying 3, 4, and 5 all, you know, and it's so funny. I'll see videos sometimes, you know, and it'll stop me in my tracks. It'll be just terrible or really awesome.
Well, it's a nice lump. I mean, 3, 4, and 5. I mean, it has,
right. No, I was walking to,
even though you can still watch them individually, you know, you don't have to watch all 3 of them in a row to understand what's going on. But it is a nice kind of
Freddy Krueger. What do you call it? I say Freddy Krueger, but Nightmare on Elm Street as a franchise, Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund was a thing, and we were part of that. And so that part, like, he was obviously on the scene before me and Lisa were there. You know, we didn't come around until 4, but Robert's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know what happened. And I don't know. You know, Robert England, like Mick Jagger of freaking deal. You know.
Danny, you said like you so go on, Lisa.
No, our host here, Danny. What would you like to ask us?
Oh, I was just saying because Danny said like he didn't know it's a franchise. I assume not to right this minute, but later on. But like when you got the role in Nightmare on Elm Street 4, did you realize like these were a big thing?
Me or her?
For you first, and I think Lisa's more of a horror fan. But did Danny? Did you know that these were like a legit big thing that people followed?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I was super happy because it was a decent pay. It was the lowest they could pay you as a SAG actor. It was the absolute lowest, which was still really good money. I guess.
Well, residuals, for God's sake. I mean,
so all the perks of being a part of that thing. I'm not trying to make fun of it because I'm super proud of it now. But at the time, it was not the biggest resume builder on the street, just to be honest, because people would laugh at you. I mean, that was the deal. They're like, whatever. And now they're like, okay, maybe I missed that. You know what I mean? So, but there are no rules to music, acting, all the arts. And that's why people get confused and listen to people and think you have to do TikTok to be famous. And it's like, no, you just have to do your deal. You know? Like, and be an actor or guitar player, whatever your deal is, you know? So we were part of that. We were part of a thing that actually was pretty entertaining and successful for people. And we were part of it. Not that we got the chunk of change out of it, but a lot of people did.
Well, for me, I've been a horror fan since I was little. And it all occurred because on a Saturday, it would be cartoons all morning. Then the monkeys would play. Then all afternoon were black and white, you know, Frankenstein, Dracula, Twilight Zone, you know, all day. And so ever since I was just very, very young, I just became fascinated by horror. So I was already definitely a fan of A Nightmare on Elm Street when I auditioned for it. And I had the biggest crush on Joey in Nightmare 3. Oh my goodness, you know. And so when, you know, I finished UCLA, theater arts degree, was booked soap operas right away, which was awesome. And they had this opportunity for Nightmare on Elm Street. I was just like, oh my God, this would be amazing. So anyway, I wasn't thinking of being an actress or anything like that. I just, you know, was already a huge fan of the Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. Were your family cool with you watching horror movies as a kid?
Well, they were on TV, so they were legit. So, like, it was allowed.
Right.
This is after cartoons, monkey show, 30 minutes. And then the afternoon, you know, my sister and I would be in the basement. We had a TV down there. That was our wonderful playroom. I grew up in Missouri because, you know, West Coast doesn't really have a basement. So I grew up in the Midwest. And they were fine. The first novel I read, I was in 4th grade. It was not on the reading list, but I don't know. My mom would always take me and my sister to the library. Read Bram Stoker's Dracula. And I read it. Get this. I don't think my mom paid much what we were checking out to read, but anyway, I would read good night, 8:30 at night. You know, you go to bed early because you have to be up 6 to get to grade school. And I'm reading Bram Stoker's with my electric blanket light under my sheet. Like, imagine holding the electric blanket, and I'm reading, and you know, it's a many-page novel.
Yeah. So
anyway, that kind of and I used to check out paranormal books, ghost story books out of the library. So no, they weren't concerned, you know. But maybe they should have been, but no, they weren't.
Well, you turned out fine.
Yeah.
I grew up in the super duper country though. Like my family lives like 500. I figured it out because I just drove to my dad's house. 537 miles from where I live now, and so what's it called? We didn't have we didn't really have television or movies or whatever, but what we used to get, I used to go get magazines, and Fangora magazine. Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah.
So that was super fascinating as a kid because they were stills of the monsters, right?
Mhm.
You guys remember that? So as a kid, being able to look at Fangora and see like the monsters without them, because you only get a quick glimpse of them if you see the movie, you know? So that was pretty cool. And then now, full turnaround when I'm older, now that I was in a freaking horror movie and whatever, and Fangora, it's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
that, like, because Robert's a cool monster, you know what I mean? So I guess so.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what when you just remind, when Lisa was saying that, when I was young, being able to go look at a magazine and see Fangoria and look at the monsters and stills, that now being associated with Freddy Krueger is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
What do you think it is about the horror genre and Nightmare on Elm Street specifically that always captures a new audience? You know, it's not just the people who watched it at the time, you know, people that weren't even born, you know, are watching it.
Good, man.
Yeah, and definitely at the
all I know is we rode the.
Sorry, Danny. I'll
I
let
would
you.
talk to say. Go ahead, go.
I should name someone first. That's probably my fault. So Lisa, we'll go Lisa first, then we'll go to Danny.
Yes. Well, it really was. What was the question?
What's it about the horror genre that, you know, captures? It always captures a new audience.
Definitely, I feel like, and it's true. We do these conventions and autograph shows and whatnot, and I've been doing them about 20 years since they even like started. Yeah. And what's fascinating to me in 20 years, there's the mom who or dad or whatever watched them, and now they've had children, and it's like the big family circle, you know, of watching them together. And it's just something they do in October or every Sunday night is what horror film are we going to watch tonight, as a family gathering kind of thing. But I also really feel like, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street, I feel like is a little bit different because it's really not bloody. It's more psychological. You know, Freddy gets you in your dreams and he will take advantage of you as far as what your faults are or your fears are. You know, you're scared of heights. Well, that's how you're going to die. You're scared of bugs. Well, that's how you're going to die. You're scared of it. You know, it's just a very sort of layered intellectual thing on how Freddy gets you.
Yeah.
And I also feel too, Alice Johnson and the experiences I've had is that, you know, Alice was just a daydreamer and shy and has lost her mother, and you know, we've got this alcoholic father, so no wonder she went into daydreams. But the fact that it really took a village to kill Freddy, because as my friends die in Nightmare 4, I take on their powers, and Alice needed that. But don't we as human beings need to take on our powers or admire someone who has something they're really good at that you're not, but you learn from them, and you evolve. You know, it's how we evolve as human beings, how we learn. So I really feel like Alice Johnson is very special, and is I can't tell you how many people have come to say that, you know, the inspiration it gave them, you know, they're being bullied at school, or they're, you know, and of course in Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy is always the bully to all of us. But anyway, that's what I have to kind of say about Alice Johnson, 4 and 5, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Any comments? Did I go on too long? What's going on?
No, I thought that was great, because I also think a big difference, especially in 3, 4, and 5, is that all the kids like work together, and you also root for them. Unlike a lot of horror movies where you watch and you're really just watching to see the fun kills, and not that Nightmare on Elm Street doesn't have fun kills, but you're also rooting for the people because you actually like them and you want to see them. And so when things happen to them, you actually, you know, are more. You're more concerned because you're into the character.
And you can relate to these characters.
Yeah, they're not just people set up to get killed in fun ways.
Yeah, I mean, there's like no TNA in Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean,
not enough.
You know, I mean, there really isn't. You know,
there wasn't enough. So
it's heavier. Oh, Danny.
No.
Okay. Anyway.
No, I totally agree with you 100%. All those, but at the same, what I was gonna say, it's kind of like music. We were part of the '80s horror deal. There was not just us; it was Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers, and that was the deal, man. Those guys, for some reason, are not just Nightmare on Elm Street 4, but I believe Halloween 4 was. They weren't number one as long, but they were also number one also for like a week. I swear to God, it was like having a bunch of bands that were like, that was the genre of, that's what people were going to see. And I was fortunate enough to be in number 4 when it was like right at the, the top. And what is it called? You asked the question about why is it? I know for us, I know for Nightmare 4, because we were, unbeknownst to us as actors, we were just artists doing our thing, whether we were just acting, but it was a perfect mix of everything. It was a big team effort all the way around, and it was all cultivating from 3 into 4, and I'm not. And then kind of 5 kind of went, it kind of backslid, but 4 was like we toured. That was like, yeah, we were number one for and so that's that group of people that made that movie are part of that, and that's just like I always tell people, we're like astronauts. We're like we were number one for a way long time when we even shouldn't have been. There was like all these huge studio movies, and people were still checking out Nightmare 4, especially.
Well,
so I'm just saying we were part of. But also, like I said, there was what's the other guys? Halloween and
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, man.
Yeah.
They were just.
That was pretty, time.
Pretty cool.
Horror in the 80s, it was like, oh, well, we were all beginning actors, right? And what am I gonna? Why would I turn down a horror film? One, I could never, because I love horror. But there was this sort of taboo as an actor doing horror films, because that just put you down at the bottom of the bucket list. You know what I mean? And then
pretty much, you're like, are you
today in 2024?
It was like right about porn.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not joking. They were like, oh, no. So are you like a lead porn star or something now? You're like, wait, no.
It was, that's what I mean. It was down at the bottom of the totem pole for sure. But it's so interesting to see. I feel like the 80s the 80s horror phenomenon kind of changed all that.
Absolutely.
Now no longer have to be embarrassed,
Absolutely.
Doing a horror film, because in 1988, it really changed the whole perspective of horror. And look at now, 2024. Horror is huge.
Yeah. Like I go to the movies all the time, and I don't just see horror, I see everything. But the movies that do good are like the big giant, Marvel movies and horror movies. Even small indie horror movies are playing at the theater.
Yep. So,
it was
we like got it going, Danny. We all this Nightmare young actor were like,
they were locked around the corner. It was like being in a famous rock band, only yes, we were part of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Oh, my banner fell down. The wind's blowing.
Oh, it's all right.
We were part of the that's it. We were part of the,
part of the revolution.
Yeah. So how early on, Lisa, did you know that you'd come back for part 5?
Not till after 4, and then 4 was a huge box office success.
Mm-hmm.
And Rodney Eastman and I still quibble about, no 3 made more at the box office, no 4 made more. It doesn't matter. They were like equal.
They were both big,
yeah. So
4 did. 4 set a record.
And it doesn't even matter, I mean, it's my way of flirting with Rodney, because I still have a crush on him. I always will, even though he's married now. I went to his wedding, actually. He got married here in Vegas a couple summers ago, by the way. Anyway.
Well, congratulations to him. Well, how about yourself, Danny? When did you know you were going to come back for part 5?
It was the same as Lisa, right away. I mean, it was really soon, right, Lisa? Turnaround was like...
Well, I learned when they got Stephen Hopkins, they were figuring out their director.
It seemed really early. I can't remember. It seemed really soon. It seemed incredibly soon for me.
It was a few. I recall it wasn't like 2 weeks. It was like a couple months, a few months.
Which was still pretty soon.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, a lot sooner than the other sequels. So Danny, when you see the script and you see you die, so you know you can't be brought back for part 6, what goes through your mind?
I was when I got it, the whole actually there was like a formula happening, right? Like the kid, you know what I mean? Like there was if you're in 3, you're probably gonna die in 4. If you're so now if you're in 4 and you're going into 5, I was like, I didn't even look at any of the exterior. I went right to my lines and I was like, oh, Dan's death scene. I knew that. But now that I'm older or whatever, and now that it being killed by Freddy Krueger has pretty much kind of like immortalized myself in like some weird horror world because I was killed by Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
And Freddy Krueger has like, this guy was at a convention and this guy stands up and tells everybody, you know, Michael Myers has this many kills and Jason has this many kills and Freddy has, and it was like they were huge, you know, and he was kind of, and Freddy's were like this, they were like 40s it was small. So I was like, no way, I didn't know that. And he was like, he knew all the stats, so it was pretty cool. So I wish I could tell you that. Yeah, we're pretty rare because we got killed by Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, and Lisa's one of the characters that does not get killed by
even Freddy more Krueger. Rare is to survive. Yeah. But there's a few, you know, like Lisa and Heather, and that's pretty cool too. But to be a final girl is kind of a
Heather
rad.
technically does get killed, but then she comes back as herself. So that's a little bit of a.
Oh, I don't know. Well, Lisa didn't die, so that's even more like.
Well, for the longest time, I was like, why didn't I get my death scene? I don't understand what's going on here. And, you know, I was kind of bummed. And then they did Nightmare 6 and said, you know, and what happened to Alice? What happened to Alice and Jacob? It was so weird to me. But then one day, a kind of little light bulb went off in my head. And I was like, guess what? Alice lives. In fact, I created a t-shirt too. Alice.
I love it. Yeah.
Because the significance of that is actually pretty amazing. And the fact that they never decided to kill Alice, there's got to be a thought process behind that. And to me, I look at it as a huge positive now, you know? Mm-hmm. There is truly a final girl who survived Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. Was there ever any talks with you to you know come back for part 6 to continue like the story with you and Jacob?
Nope. Someone was actually, when I was just in Kansas City, someone sent me something like, apparently it's running out there that they couldn't reach me or something like that. That's just silly. Even though I left acting shortly after Nightmare 5, married, had children and all that stuff. I'm like, well, I still had a theatrical agent, you know, they could have reached out. So, but anyway, apparently there was, after Nightmare 5, a script that Warner Brothers had to bring us back for Nightmare 6, I think. But then they changed the whole story. And as we know, Nightmare 6 has absolutely nothing to do with 1 through 5.
Yeah. It's a very peculiar film, I'll admit.
Yeah.
So,
but no, I never turned down anything. I was never offered anything. And it is what it is to this day. 35
each other except 3, 4, and 5. To be honest.
Yeah. Lisa, you just said about, you know, you get married and have kids after part 5. Now that, you know, after being a mom, does part 5 like hit you differently? Because, you know, it's a lot about having a child and maybe not having a child. And
well, as we know, when we look at the box office numbers, 4 was like 50 million and Nightmare 5 was like 15 million.
Right.
So weird.
And I have a lot of respect for 5. In 1989, so many taboo. I mean, sex before marriage, pregnant, teen pregnancy, considering abortion, adoption. Let's throw in Greta's story from Nightmare 5. Bulimia, anorexia. Then we have the recovered alcoholic father. I mean, so many taboo things that today we have no problem talking about these sort of things, you know. But back then in '89, it was like, I wanted to see a scary movie. I want to hear about abortion and, you know, teen pregnancy, you know. So, but it's become a lot more accepted, I've noticed, over the past 5 years. And for many now, Nightmare 5 is the first film of Nightmare they even saw in the theater. So it's kind of just, you know, definitely moved as far as attention to 5. But as far as with my kids and having that, no, I already recognize Nightmare 5 as just taboo subject matters, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny, how about filming your death scene in 5? It's a very long, you know, death scene.
But yeah, they're all actually, what's it called? I think, what is it? When you're an actor and you get a movie like that, what is someone told me? You have to be a good sport. That means you're going to get like all that crap put on you. And this is 37 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
So this is like, they don't even know. They're kind of experimenting still, you know, like putting stuff on your face. Not, I mean, whatever. But once they perfected something, then they did it. So like that was a trip, because like everyone got a body cast. I mean, put a body cast. I don't care what your scene was. They're like, hey, go get a body cast. You know what I mean? And so, and we had
I refused to get a body cast in Nightmare 5.
Not a body cast, but you know what I mean? Like,
really?
Oh no. Erica plays, you know, that she got a full body cast. I'm like, you want me to get naked and sit in plaster? I'm sorry. You're going to have to find a different way.
But yeah, I had a bunch of it done. Everybody had it done. It didn't matter. That's why I was making fun of
the face, I've had the face done, I think 4 and 5 or something. But full body cast, I was like, nope.
They were so into it, man, because they had it down. Like, they're like, even if the scene didn't call for it, they're like, whatever.
We're just going to do it. Yeah. Okay.
But and the thing was, is like, I forget what it's made out of, but I had a bunch of them. And then I had one I always had one that was me holding the steering wheel when I crash in. It's actually in 4 when I crash into Freddie and all that scene, and then Lisa is looking at me. But when all that, the red truck. But when the red truck crashes, they have a dummy of me in there.
Oh yeah.
Open, and like I'm all making this crazy face. Well, I had to get that you know, the mold, making a face like, you know, as I'm crashing. Anyhow,
oh my gosh, how long did the crash pose? You had to do a crash pose and plaster. How long did you have to hold that thing? Your face
to where
15
you don't
minutes?
Get it, and they have you know, I was pretty good at it. Like it was pretty fun. You got to be a good sport, but it's really fun. And so the mannequin that they made for that thing even had my eyebrows. I was like, oh my God, it was so
oh no,
it was so funny. And so when it was done, I kept it. I had it, but it actually deteriorates. So
it's too bad.
Yeah, but it was funny, man. It was pretty cool. But that mannequin is in.
What do they do for the mouth when you have your mouth open, making the head?
You have your tongue. You just kind of like hold your mouth, but because it'll stop. It doesn't. It's not. There goes a Harley.
Looking for your head, yeah.
And you have straws up your nose, right, to breathe?
Yeah, it has it in your nose. You can breathe still,
you
but
guys,
it's not. It's
you
more.
Have no idea what we actors go through. Okay.
It's the consistency of like Play-Doh, so it's not going to go down your, or even a little more less than, you know, it's liquidy, but you can feel it, so you just don't gag and don't let it go down your throat or anything.
It's yeah.
And just your tongue there and just let it do it, and it got my teeth and everything, but because you're still gonna breathing through your nose.
Oh my God. I want to say to all you out there is like, please understand, when you see an actor, okay, beautiful film, an actor is trudging through the desert. Guess what? We're really trudging through a desert and it's 119 degrees. Okay. Like the things we're like acrobats, honestly. So anyway.
Yeah,
if you want to become an actor, just keep in mind, you're not going to be comfortable on set.
Oh, and then not to caveat,
but it's all worth it for the story. Yeah. And when I see a script, I definitely keep in mind how many night shoots are we doing? Where are we filming? What's the weather going to be? I did a film in Texas, Hempstead, Texas, in August. Okay. Whoo! So crazy hot. But you still got to have your lines and your story and your character, and you just push through.
I'm about to go camping, and it's going to be 100 degrees, and I'm taking my kids and dogs. So
good luck. Bring
wish
luck.
me
Bring
luck. Wish me luck.
Water.
Yeah.
Wish me luck.
Do you have a story about this banner, Danny?
The what is the banner? Oh yeah,
yeah, the banner. Yeah,
this one.
I asked that like I don't know, but yeah.
So when I was we get invited to conventions, and when you get there, they have a banner, and you're like, "Oh my god, that's cool. I want to take that." Well, a lot of the times that you don't get to take it. It's not yours. I tried to do it in Germany one time, and they were just like, I can't remember the conversation, but it was like, whoa.
What they want,
it's my face.
We sign it, and
then they keep it. Yeah,
they keep it.
It was right behind,
and they'll auction it off or whatever.
Yeah, I guess. Who knows? Where is it? I don't know where it's at. So anyhow, this one in Canada, they let me have it. I forget. Sorry. Thank you, Canada. I forget the name of the con. But in Canada, the only time I got invited there, they let me take this. And so when I came home, I took it on the plane and I carried it under my arm. And everyone that was they let me slide it between the window in their seat, and it was hysterical. It was a great conversation piece to bring that home, and now it's mine for.
Yeah, now you just walk around with it.
I know it's actually it's in my RV. When we're done with this podcast, I'm gonna go put it on. I'm gonna put it on the outside and drive to the campsite tomorrow morning.
Someone might steal it, Danny. Make sure you put it back inside, safe and sound.
I have another thing, I have a banner that I left a banner that's very similar, because there's these really cool banners and you put up your little merch thing, but I don't really do that often. But that's why I'm excited to go with Lisa to do the Gardena Cinema, because it's going to be fun, man. It's here local. I could take public trans. I might even do it. Who knows? So, I'm serious. So, but I might need to bring my banner.
Absolutely. I never leave home without it.
I left one time in LAX, and I wonder to this day where it ended up, because I'm going to see it somewhere or something, and I'm going to laugh. It's going to be like someone's going to be using it to carry like the garbage or something.
No, it'll end up on eBay or something.
I don't think so. No, they're not.
Shirt.
Who knows? But it's pretty cool. It's funny. It's hysterical, because I'm still imagining like when they found it, they're like, "What the frick is this?"
Yeah. So, Lisa, Robert Englund, in and out of the makeup, does he act differently? Is he like always in character when he's afraid?
Oh no. When he's getting his makeup on, he's totally Robert Englund. He's just Robert. I mean, I'll never forget during Nightmare 4. Now, mind you, I'm already a fan of Nightmare on Elm Street. Like the night before filming, the next morning I sat call and I'm like, oh my God, it was like the first day of school where you can't sleep, right? So and he was absolutely lovely and amazing. But for Nightmare 4, I had virgin blonde, platinum blonde hair, and they asked me for the role of Alice to dye my hair red. And I said, well, can we do a rinse, instead of a permanent dye? Whatever. I may as well have dyed it, because after weeks and weeks of, red dye being put on it's like throwing red paint on a white wall. Okay. Guess what? My hair got stained. Anyway, what I'm saying is we'd be in the makeup trailer and, Harold's putting on, Robert's makeup and this and that. I'm getting a dye, the rinse put on. And then they have to have 2 blow dryers on my hair to dry it and all this. But in our time in the makeup chair, I'll never forget, he was remodeling a bathroom or something. And I've done interior design. I don't have a degree in it, but friends, neighbors have said, Lisa, I'm good at it. We're talking about grout colors, okay, for the tile in the bathroom. So we're totally like ourselves,
Design kitchen.
Hmm?
Design. You guys
are Danny? You cut up a little bit.
It cut off. I can't hear.
Oh, you guys were designing the kitchen.
The bathroom.
Oh, I'm sorry. The
No,
tile.
we were talking grout colors and tile colors and paint colors, and we were working on his powder room together, or his bathroom together. So no, it's more once full makeup is done and all that, and we're on set, into character, And I know too a lot of young actors that I work with now, who are starting out and whatnot, and they'll be like, their headphones on because they have a scene where they have to cry, and they're just like all day they're just in that, and I get that, and I appreciate that. I don't work that way. It's like I just change, like I don't have to feel cry. And I also, when I experienced like having to do a crying scene, to think about it all morning, all day, and the scenes at the end of the day, I've cried out, so I save it. You like bottle it. That's my system. But everyone is different, and I know there's brilliant actors who like are seriously in character like for 6 months, I guess. I don't know, but that system hasn't really worked for me. Anyway.
Bill DeFrance from Gardena Cinema says, "Cinema to Hollywood people who don't drive, you can take the 210 from Hollywood and Vine straight to Gardena Cinema.
It's on Crenshaw Boulevard.
He added that as well. So you can get off the Green Line at Crenshaw and take the 210.
It's the green. Oh, awesome! Yay, that's great.
I told you could take public trans. I might do it just because I might. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, if there was a train,
local for me, man.
If there was a train already built, like been talked about,
no, the Green Line. The Green Line.
I get so frustrated. Danny and I do this. They just like, he's like, I have the floor. Give me 30. But no, I'm just saying that if there was a train from Vegas to LA, which has been talked about for like 50 years, that would be amazing.
They're trying. We'll figure it out. Who knows?
Give them another 50 years. And
right.
Danny, I did see a video with you where you said that the suit that you wore when you get like fused, you saw it on eBay. Do you know whatever happened to that?
It was out there for a while. I wonder what happened to it. It was called the Dan suit, and it's really cool. And it's like somebody either owns it. Again, I know they deteriorate because of I can't remember. I'm so whatever the material, but it's like a type of plastic that deteriorates. It doesn't, foam or whatever. And so it may be like kind of crusty by now unless someone preserved it. It was pretty neat. There's a bunch of photos out there, and we used to switch. Me and the stunt rider. Well, I could ride a motorcycle, and I could do a little bit of stuff. And once they realized that, the scene just, they just went off with it, whatever. And
that's so cool. So you really did know how to ride a motorcycle a bit.
Oh yeah, that's how I started it and put the key in and did all. So then,
well, you know what's funny in Nightmare 4? I leave the hospital, you're in the hospital, I leave, I grab Dad's keys, whatever. And they're like, oh, it's a stick shift car. I'm like, I didn't know how to drive a stick shift. You didn't tell me. I don't know, whatever. So they had to teach me how to drive stick shift in the parking lot.
The truck.
And that's why the car kind of jerks, but it was actually perfect for the scene, right? Yeah. That was like, oh, good. I don't know.
Just tell people you did it on purpose now. Yeah.
The truck.
Well, I do. I mean, but and I learned pretty quickly. But fortunately, I didn't. I mean, it was just that beginning of the scene when I was in the hospital, grabbing the keys.
She did it again. You did it again though when you drove the truck.
That was automatic.
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure, anyhow, but it was not easy to drive. It was an old, it was a really...
No, I'm going to say, because we had to drive around the Crave Inn, how many times? The looping scene. Okay. No, it was automatic. I'm sure of it, because I think I would remember having to do it.
But it wasn't easy to drive. You know what I me?
Yeah, but it was because
it was like a big tractor to literally...
And that looping scene, as you know, me and Danny know, is that Robert Englund, we do panels and whatnot. And Robert's been asked many times, what's your favorite scene out of all the films? That's his favorite scene in the whole world.
It's a cool thing.
Really?
Cool. It's a cool, like super cool, super inexpensive effect that made everybody just, what happened? You know what I mean?
I just had someone in Kansas City said to me, he decided to he tried LSD and saw Night Before. I'm not kidding.
Oh.
And he's watching it, and then the scene is looping, and he's like, oh man, this acid is killing, you know what I mean? So anyway, just for the record, Robert Englund has said that is like absolutely his favorite scenes.
Yeah. And he may or may not have been in LSD when he watched it.
This movie's terrible. He's like, this movie sucks.
No, I did not say Robert was on LSD. This kid
I know.
Watching the film.
I know. I was
and he thought, oh boy, this drug is definitely affecting me because I'm seeing it over and over again.
Yeah, I love that. So, Lisa, in the end of part 5, when you have your final confrontation with Freddy, what was that set like? It looks huge when you're watching the movie.
It was ginormous. Yes, Stephen Hopkins was an amazing artist. He drew what he wanted that space to look like, and he had storyboards that he personally drew. At storyboards.
Yeah.
And in his office, it was all these storyboards all over. He was very, very much involved with the production value of how he wanted this film to look.
He could do a storyboard. This is because I'm ex-military. It's kind of similar. It could be a stick figure and an arrow, and then like another stick figure that looks like a girl.
No, Steven is a true artist.
Storyboards were like 80s comic books.
That's what it looked like. We go into Stephen Hawkins' office and this and that. Yeah, it was like comic book, like beautiful artwork, just totally amazing. I wonder what happened.
Storyboards are basically like, I forgot, there's a military thing I've always brain, but there's a thing you do in the military and you draw pictures and little symbols and this is what's going to happen and everyone can look at the picture without talking. Hence, storyboards are extremely similar. They have, that's what I mean. It could be like a stick figure, but his were extremely like, I don't know how to say it, Lisa. I've never seen it.
They were art. Each one.
Never storyboards like that ever, or probably ever will again. So I was like, what a trip. So it's pretty.
He didn't hire someone to do it. He did it himself.
No, right. I forgot. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It looked like the comic books that I was used to seeing as an 80s.
Yeah.
And it was why, that, and storyboards tell what you're going to shoot that day and where the camera angle is and everything. It's pretty wild, and point of.
And I still believe in storyboards. You got to be organized as a director as far as the angle you want, the look you want, what you want to capture, it's like a notebook, a notebook of, okay, got that. Check.
Well, I'm glad you said that. To just my own thing right now, I'm in pre-production for a movie I'm going to direct, and I wrote Arbor Day, and my friend Annabelle is storyboarding it, and I have some other friends who told me don't storyboard anything. So I'm glad that you said that, Lisa.
Wow. Why did they say not?
They say because then you get too stuck on that, and if you can't get the perfect thing, like you won't do it or whatever. But I think like in your mind, if you can't get exactly how you do it,
But I feel a storyboard, of course, on set,
we were used
to take advantage of a beautiful sunset that you didn't expect, or something that happens, but you need a trail, to follow, but always be open to your environment and things that just you didn't expect would happen, and film that. You got time to film that, But I really do believe in the trail of a storyboard, because to keep some focus, and then of course be open to whatever else pop up.
I just in my day, I know I'm such a huge star. I have my own banner, I know, but no, I did a couple.
What did you just say? You're a huge star.
But exactly, as a huge star, I really know what I'm talking about. So
no, and Robert's getting his star on Hollywood Boulevard.
I know, that's amazing. Yeah,
No, that is really. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about that too. But no, storyboards were standard. There was because not only because
Absolutely.
they were standard. There was someone that had. There was always storyboards, and that's
Yep.
what I mean. Sometimes they would be straight up stick figures. You know what I mean?
I never saw a stick figure storyboard on set or film ever. So you're saying you did? I thought you were saying in the military.
It was
they did
like,
stick figures.
like, look, dude, look that way.
Oh, Danny.
This shot
I
is
kind of love this.
looking that way. So anyhow, so yeah, but what was my point? But it was standard back then. There was always storyboards. So it would not to my 2 cents to tell your people that no, man, there's always storyboards because like what Lisa says, otherwise you're gonna go off the rails. You get stuck on something else. You're like, no, the scene was what? Go back. Oh yeah, the storyboard. Remember, we're trying to film the scene.
And you know what? I think storyboard were kind of maybe because of budget. They didn't want to hire someone to do the storyboards. In our case, Stephen Hopkins did his own, but other productions probably went just like script supervisors and storyboard. It's probably budget.
When I was on
A lost art.
When I was a big famous actor, when I was on that show with Angela Lansbury called Murder, She Wrote, they had storyboards because those actors were not young and they kind of needed them. They kind of like would look past the camera and there would be a storyboard, or like a script there too, you know what I mean? Like, so storyboards were pretty important, I guess. That was, it was like, that was so standard back then.
Yeah.
Because you could be like, up on your line and go, and kind of look around and go, I forgot my line. And then you're like, oh yeah, there's this person there with a big old board with your line on it.
Which isn't a storyboard, but it's the lines, and that's the.
What is that called, Lisa? That's something else.
And as script supervisor is the one who's always on set. You're rehearsing the line, and you forget, and you go line. Script supervisor's right there. Here gives you the line. And so, and of course, back then you got to rehearse a lot more too, even on set. Obviously theater, you rehearse for weeks, but on film sets, you used to have that opportunity to look at a storyboard. You knew you had someone to have your lines for you if you needed, not just me, but other actors like Angela Lansbury or whatever. You had a script supervisor who knew continuity, what motion you did. They write it in.
Hand over here,
so you remember, did I pick up drink?
Shit like that. Like, Danny, right hand in your pocket, not left hand in your pocket, right hand in your pocket. You're like, oh shit, yeah. It was like,
they don't have that anymore.
Huh? No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Because like, that's why like, I forgot what we were talking about. This takes me back because it was standard back then because there wasn't that many acting jobs. So the jobs, I mean, we were on like professional shows and they had like they already had a system and we weren't there trying to reinvent it. We were doing what we were told. Where now with, not that, I mean, I love independent movies. I just, Lisa and I, we've done some independent films too. But the thing about independent films is you kind of just invent your own rules where when you're working with back, I don't know if it's changing now, but I'm just saying when you're working for a studio, you're going to do what they say or just kind of not rock the boat and go,
But I also look at it as they supported the actors and performances as far as continuity, rehearsal, lines, change.
Yeah, there was rehearsal
and this and that. Now, independent films. Oh no, there's no continuity. It's more on the actor now to go. Okay, make sure I remember when I like doing a dinner scene, any kind of eating scene. Oh my gosh, it's continuity is.
Imagine.
It's very those are the hardest scenes in my opinion to do. Not a crying scene. It's continuity during a dinner with 10 other actors and happening.
So is that something you just
have any eating scenes, dinner scenes?
No, it does not. But I actually was a script supervisor on a movie a few years ago. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
So I did actually have to make sure they knew their lines, or I don't want to say the name, but one person didn't know any of their lines, so I had to feed their line by line. But you wouldn't know it when you watch a movie. So.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, the director was like, we'll just do it line by line, and it was not fun, but it turned out good. So
you can get away with it.
Editing, the beauty, our kings and queens, editors.
Right.
Exactly.
So even myself, I've done some acting and I have a movie out there that I did, and I was like, I had a big monologue scene or whatever, and I haven't been on in front of a movie. This is like kind of like last year or whatever, and I was just like, and I was just kind of, I don't know, I felt like I was choppy, and so, but when it came out, it looked pretty good. Thank you, editor, dude.
Always.
Yeah. So kind of not along those lines a little bit, but the first time you see part 5, like what did you think of the movie? Because it, like you said, editing, it could you're there when you're filming, but it really depends on
Yeah,
how the movie's edited and put
honestly,
together.
it's so slow, and like there's that weird scene at the end when the heads and the skulls are coming out. It's so long to get to the point, where number 5 or number 4 was, I'm not going to say fast, but it was like it had some kind of weird pace compared to 5. 5 was slow. And so like I saw people get bored and walk and go get, they were like whatever's and like go get candy or where in 4 they were just no way. I'm watching till the end. I'm laughing. I'm throwing shit at the screen. Like, but and that was because I was able to go and I wasn't a big star. I was able to go in with the crowd a lot and sit in there with them and just watch people react. 5 people got. I could feel it. I could feel them getting bored and just like it wasn't our fault as actors, even though I take it totally personal or whatever. But it has nothing. It was just the way the movie was made.
It was just a totally different pacing. Nightmare 4 had so much more. The music, oh my gosh, so
that too.
Great music in 4, and the story and how it's building, and Alice taking on another personality, now another, and then there was just a complete different pace to 4. 5 was definitely much more serious and sort of goth. And a lot about Alice and the baby and what to do with the baby, and it's like it didn't have the it was a completely different kind of pace. But that's the script that Stephen Hopkins was given, and I was given, and all the actors were given, and we did our best. But it's
still a rad movie, man. It looks really awesome. It's just like I said, you can't.
Yeah. And I love the cartoon thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that part like with Joe.
That was so interesting,
Amazing.
There were really interesting, cool things in 5, but definitely
5 has the least amount of deaths in all of the movies. That's what's weird. It has 3 deaths, I believe. That's it. There's only 3.
And also Nightmare 5 has the least screen time Freddy Krueger of Robert. The least out of all the nightmares.
I wanted to say something smart ass and funny, but I can't figure it out right now.
So
I was gonna say Robert was on the golf course, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe he said, I only want to have, a page of lines in this film. I don't think he did. That's the script Warner Brothers decided to do.
Stuff. He was doing his rap album maybe when that was going out. And
maybe, but at least Freddy.
I do think there's probably a mindset when you're at part 5, you want to do something different than the previous ones.
That's what
they certainly did.
Yeah. I was trying to defend it, but yeah,
they achieved that for sure.
Yeah. And you said the rap album. What did you think of the rap at the end in the end credits for part 5? You might not remember the when the credits come up, there's like a Freddy rap.
I know.
Yeah.
I love I can't even. I don't want to even be mean, but like the soundtrack for 5 is just a lot different than the soundtrack for 4. And then the soundtrack for 4, the actual songs that are in the movie, they're not even on the soundtrack. So whatever.
Nightmare 4 soundtrack is absolutely memorable, and so many of those songs we still hear on the radio. Nightmare 5 was not about
soundtrack
or soundtrack or anything. It was a story about a young girl and what is she going to do with her unborn child.
Hits. There wasn't any MTV heavy rotation hits, that's for sure, which there were on the other one. So
Yeah.
anyhow, man, I don't know. That's above us. So we were just doing.
And it's not to say I think our acting was great in 5. I mean, I don't look at it as you acted in your motorcycle stuff. Holy moly, that was freaking awesome.
It's probably the best.
All that, and I don't discount my acting in 5. I was a good actress in it.
I agree. Yeah.
It was the story. I don't know. The appeal of the story was not attractive, I guess.
By the way, configuration box that says he just saw, or he or she, I'm not sure, just saw Lisa in Kansas City.
Oh, hello.
No way.
Yes. And Dave Deadman loves part 5. He says 5 is gold.
What's that?
Dave Deadman said part 5 is gold. It's one of his favorites.
Oh, see, that's what I'm saying. It's just taken a few decades for 5 to be it's a good film. It is, but it just didn't hit the spark for audiences in the late 80s. But now
it's all different.
It's looked upon in a whole different light because it's now 2024.
You know? Oh, a lot of horror movies are like that. Like Halloween 3 was not really liked. I liked it as a kid, and now like people love it. So I think it used to be like the minority liked it. Now I think the minority dislike it. So.
Yeah. Who knows? Whatever. At least we're still here and standing and enjoying a great conversation about.
No, you get cool perks. Like, meaning we get to go do this neat little gig next week. I believe, Lisa, we're going to New Jersey in August.
Yeah.
There's a horror con in New Jersey.
And I leave for Montreal tomorrow.
Wow. So I'm just saying that's pretty cool to be part of something where people still invite you to their conventions.
Yeah.
So we're pretty grateful for that, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. Forever. And just meeting everyone that has had an experience with the Nightmare on Elm Street and how meaningful it is to them. Just as meaningful as Nightmare on Elm Street was to me as a kid in horror films, So anyway.
When I was walking here down the street, this car I'd never seen before, but it was a car just parked. It had a Freddy Krueger sun shield.
I love
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all, hey, cool. So he's pretty Freddy. It's pretty cool to be involved with something like that. I would compare it to like his biggest Star Wars or, not that same genre. I'm saying that's science fiction, but I mean as internationally, out there.
Well, you're going to talk about all these different appearances. There's a horror convention, every weekend probably. There's not romantic comedy conventions or, drama conventions. So, it's a beloved thing that people all get together.
Who knew?
You are right, dude. That's right. That's 100% right.
And I'm forever grateful. And I love the horror community. Because I was a horror chick since I was 10, so I'm with my people. I really am.
What's cool about Nightmare 4, not because I'm in it, but if you lift the titles, like the intro titles that have the cheesy slasher for that era, now it looks.
Yeah.
But if you were to remove those and put new whatever, or just to remove it and play the movie, it stands alone with a lot with like today. It'll hold people's audience. I don't know what to say. All I know is it'll hold an audience, because what happens is as soon as you see the titles and it says like, then it looks dated. But if you were to maybe put some new titles on it, because you could almost confuse an audience, not confuse, but it could look like a newer movie. Because that Nightmare 4, it just stands the test of time.
I think that era of movies, though, are really beloved today, and they try to recreate the feel of 80s movies today, with even like Art the Clown. I mean, it's really like an 80s slasher, only like more graphic, I think. And just recently in A Violent Nature is very like an 80s slasher movie.
80s everything I see. Not that I'm being jaded, but I'm like, we had a version of that, or someone, we kind of saw that already, but that's just what's going on. You know what I mean? So like
80s rock.
that was the last.
80s horror rocks. Practical effects rock.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anyone be like, you know what, I prefer CGI. So because even bad practical effects has a charm to it, and it's like fun, and like bad CG, it's just like that's just bad. That's
right.
not
I
good.
mean, there's good practical effects, some that didn't do so well. Doesn't matter. You can appreciate the effort, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But because you have to understand, practical effects are brains, people coming together to practically make this thing happen.
Yeah, there's a fun to that.
On a computer going, well, we'll do a blah,
No, I love it. I was not a horror fan, but that goes back to the Fangoria thing when I was a kid. But like even when movies came out, you could slow them down. Like let's say you had a VCR back then, and actually watch someone's head get cut off or fingers get cut off, and it was hysterical. And that was part of the.
Oh my gosh!
So that was part.
All right.
Of, I mean, you can watch it frame for frame and either laugh or, like you said, there was like you're kind of a good sport about it. Where you're like, okay, that looked pretty cool or whatever, or no, that looked funny. It looked like some hot dogs with a knife on it. And
no, yeah, but there's a fun to it, yeah. And it's there. I think even if you don't know it, there's something like your brain knows that like the weight is not there in CG when you're watching it.
Fun, man, because even now I see.
I don't knock CGI. I love all films, and there's awesome CGI. I'm like, oh my god.
Sure, a lot of it you don't even realize. I think is why.
Yeah.
Agree with some of the background stuff. You're like, wow, okay.
But I'm proud of the practical effects because CGI hardly existed. Green screen didn't. You know what I mean? And the fact that these human beings, creative minds, were able to create, turning Debbie into a freaking cockroach. Okay. That's pretty, and it looked hot damn fantastic.
Yeah, 100%. And before we forget, though, I do want to bring up, Danny mentioned it, Robert Englund is going to get his star in the Hall of Fame. That's pretty amazing.
I think it's like October of 2025 or something, maybe?
That's a perfect time to do it, yeah.
Is it October?
Yes.
It's 2025, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I guarantee he's going to have so many fans show up. He's like, I don't know. He, I always say that Mick Jagger.
No way. His wife Nancy, she texted me and whatever, and there's going to be a party, a celebration.
Pretty cool.
I imagine that a lot of Nightmare on Elm Street cast members will be, attending the party and the whole thing. So it's very, very exciting, and it's about time.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what someone said. Someone came up to me the other day, and they're like, "Oh man." Someone went in there and was like, what the frick is wrong with you guys? Like, have you forgot about this dude or something? They're like, oh shit, we better get Robert.
Yeah. Like Lisa, I grew up a big horror movie fan. So last time I was in Hollywood walking down the street and you see like Boris Karloff's star and I take a picture, like that's pretty awesome.
Yes.
And so now,
no,
that's our modern Boris Karloff.
I know. I think in one of our interviews, I told you when I went to UCLA, so I was accepted to UCLA Theater Arts, and I had a huge, ginormous poster of Boris Karloff, black and white, on my dorm wall. Everyone else has like music, Sticks or Bruce, whatever, the musician, band, rock and roll people. No, I've got, here I am, this little blondie girl who's Boris Karloff on my wall.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a cheap plug for the show coming up in a couple weeks. Annabelle, it's already recorded, but Annabelle and I interviewed Sarah Karloff, his daughter, and it's a really cool interview.
Wow.
And yeah, she's amazing. Tells all kinds of great stories, so people check it out. But yeah, you probably can't see, but I've got Frankenstein here behind me. What's that? Sorry.
Do they have like a wine?
I think they did actually. Yeah, I think they did. Yeah.
Wine. Yeah. Anyway. It's just like, of course, so perfect for, an empire.
Yeah. It was really cool. I met her in Boston. She brought like old 30, it wasn't even 30, I think it was 16 millimeter video of like weird things.
Wow.
It wasn't as he was on like This Is Your Life, and they showed it in 16. It was a really cool experience.
Wow.
And that was from her personal collection of all these like films she has of her dad.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
Well, I've so enjoyed our interview.
Yeah, me too. And I hope people go and see Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5, the 13th, July 13th. That's only 10 days from now.
Right. If you're in California and you're in Southern California, and I know it's like there's a holiday, but this is a weird holiday. It's in the weird middle of the week. So next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend,
July 13th.
Well, what a cool Saturday night. I'm just thinking.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Double
go
feature.
check it out. And
We're
then
there. We're going to be signing at the door at intermission. After there's going to be a Q&A, of course. And it's going to be a really fun night.
just a little background on the theater, right? It never, I mean, it's I don't know how to explain it. Like, these places, I love it because, like, as a musician, I used to go to play different. These are the kind of places you remember because 800 seats, single cinema. So it's like, and then I believe it's the last single cinema in Los Angeles. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost sure about that because it's been there since the 40s. It's really interesting. It's got
I can't wait.
yeah, go Wikipedia.
Oh my
So I'm
gosh,
just saying is like,
videotaping
what
like
a cool day night. And then Lisa and I are going to be there. Two of the most
It's gonna be a
amazing
great time.
poor actors in the history of cinema. So I said that. So you're right. No, it's going to be a cool night, man. I hope people come and check us out. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have fun.
Yeah, everyone will. So I really appreciate you both coming on. It's been a good time.
Thank you, man. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, and nice to see you again, Lisa. And we'll do this again sometime.
It's really fun. And when Danny and I bicker, it's only out of love because we're like,
All right.
sister. I'm like,
All right.
you keep talking. Stop interrupting me. We love each other as cast members. Nightmare 4, Nightmare 5. Like, you guys have to understand, we are family. Like,
Yeah.
Capital letters. Like, and what another beautiful gift from A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool lifelong friends. Yeah, pretty neato. So that's pretty cool. Then come see. Yeah, I'll see you soon, Lisa.
See you soon.
Gardena, come out to Gardena, man. Come check us out.
See you soon, bro. Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. Thanks, Bill, for setting it up.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
All right. He's going to punch himself. What's going on over here? All right. I'll knock you guys out. I know sometimes it's awkward leaving, so I'll just remove
Well,
you.
I don't know. What do I do now?
How does it work? Right. Is that it?
I can just take you out.
You'll edit it.
I feel bad, but then I know sometimes people feel bad leaving, so I'll just
we'll
take you
edit.
out.
We're gonna go.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta go.
Bye. All right, that's very cool. I appreciate both Lisa and Danny coming on. Go check that out. It's gonna be a good time. Gardena Cinema. I met Bill last time I was in LA. He's a very cool guy, and they're showing a Psycho Ape down the road. But the 13th, part 4 and 5. It's a great time. A few years ago, I went to a 12-hour marathon of all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. It was insane. It was from midnight till noon. It was a great time. It was very fun. All right, so I'll see you guys later. We're gonna play us out with the music of the month, which is the Scream Queens, and we'll be back next week. Thanks, everybody.